Hey yo, what's fucking poppin', guys? This is the review of the Danny Garcia versus Errol Spence fight. And oh man, Errol Spence, this guy, this young Texas fellow, he won convincingly. But this wasn't a pretty fight. You understand me? This wasn't no a pretty fight. I wouldn't say it was a full blown dog fight. But Errol Spence, he got he won the rounds, most of the rounds convincingly. He dominated the fight. He had ring generalship, right? That's how that's how he won the fight. He was bringing the fight to Danny. You know what I'm saying? And Danny's supposed to be the more flat-footed fighter, more quote-unquote power puncher, you could say, or someone that relies on their power punches. And even though we know that Errol Spence is a great body puncher, and he kind of sits down on his punches to get that good thrust. I feel like the real reason why Errol Spence was able to beat him, aside of his natural abilities or just his physique and his athleticism, is that he actually brung the fight to Danny. I honestly thought that Errol Spence was gonna be more on some stick and move shit, where he was gonna have play the distance. But when I watched the fight, I was surprised, because Errol Spence stood his ground, and he was in the inside kind of, but he was like at the perfect range. But he was at the range of danger. He was taking a lot of risk. Because Danny was still licking him with a lot of shots. And I feel like Errol takes a lot of unnecessary shots. He takes a lot of unnecessary shots. But you know how they say, no risk, no reward. And in this fight, I feel like Errol took a lot of risk. I remember in the beginning rounds, he was doing the double jab. The jab was immaculate. It was beautiful. A stiff, very nice, straight, stiff jab, extended jab. It was a beautiful jab with perfect timing. It was beautiful. But 90-degree angle and everything, if you want to get real specific. But my only issue was Danny had nothing for it. I feel like Danny should have took more risk. He should have been the risk taker in this fight. He was the one that was supposed to be the aggressor. And on top of this, right, I realized, or I saw how this fight was won by Errol using his jab. The jab literally won the fight, because he would jab, and pivot, and then do throw a left uppercut, right? This happened a bunch of times in the fight. But in the early rounds, what he was doing? Errol was throwing these risky left hooks, like wide slap shot left hooks. I'm like, yo, like these looping left hooks. But I'm like, oh, this motherfucker's bold. And I think in this fight, Danny was supposed to be the aggressor. He's not the faster puncher. He's flat-footed. He's shorter, but he's thicker, So I feel like he should have been the aggressor, and y'all saw the results, man. Errol stepped it up. Errol was not playing. So now we can also speak on how I always thought Danny was overrated. He'll beat the shit out of C-class fighters. He's a top C-class fighter. I'm not gonna say that. Yeah, man. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, no. He's like a B- fighter or C plus, right? Because he'll give any fighter a great fight, but he won't beat those top contenders. And we can see it in all the opponents he's lost to. Every time it was a big fight, look what happened. Look what happens. Now, he does have a beautiful resume, but every time, it was the biggest fight of his life, he never showed up. And Errol, man, he the truth. Errol the truth. But I'm going to give y'all... I'm going to give y'all this. Terrence Crawford is a problem. But I don't want to talk about that right now. I'm going to end this video here, but all I'm going to say is, Errol Spence did his job. He was working the 1-2s. He was sticking that jab, using his range. He did take a lot of unnecessary shots. But he did what he had to do to bring the fight to Danny. And he shut Danny down. And Danny was supposed to be the aggressor in the fight. Based off of their fighting style. But yeah, man. In my next boxing video, I will be speaking on the Tyson and Roy Jones fight. And also the Nate Robinson fight. So, until next time, y'all.